Welcome back to the North American Dota 2 League for the fall, brought to you by MLG. I'm MY John here at the studio live in New York City. I'm joined by Gods and Merlini, who are casting the games on behalf of BTS for us, and we just finished up our second series of the day, Joykernaut versus No Love. No Love taking those two games. And for those of you that are watching the game on stream, you may want to consider purchasing an in-game ticket. It will allow you to have all in-game access as well as be able to look at the VODs, watch from first-person perspectives from some of your favorite players, and of course get access to in-game drops, which are super awesome. You can get them for some of these players and try and use them in-game. Definitely a lot of good perks. Also, if you're in the Florida area, you may want to consider coming to the Full Sail Invitational, where the top 4 teams from the NA League will be participating and fighting for a $15,000 prize pool. Tickets are on sale at MajorLeagueGaming.com, and there's general admission as well as VIP passes available there. So be sure to go to that site and check it out. If you're in the Florida area, it's definitely going to be an amazing event to be a spectator at. Now we are going to go ahead and get ready for our next game. We're going to see the return of Dignitas for their second game of the day. They're going to be up against Shadowfiend Eats Cake, the surprise team of this tournament so far. On Wednesday evening, day 1 of the tournament, they actually took 2 games over Pretty Boys Swag, which is a team that had pretty high expectations because of the notoriety of their players and their success in past amateur tournaments. But let's go ahead and look at the rosters first. Dignitas will be fogged on the solo middle, Korok playing the hard carry, Infinity on the offlane, 1437 on the jungle support, and Peter Pan Dam, PPD on the primary support. And PPD, of course, the newest addition to the Dignitas team, only joined after the qualifiers, now in the league's format. He did start off on Stay Free, the team that they 2-0'd earlier. That second game being really dramatic, coming down to the wire, and the Creeps actually finishing that game off for Dignitas. They were close to losing that. But let's look at their opponent for this game. The surprise team of the tournament, Shadowfiend Eats Cake. And we have No Damon, Bricks, Mushi, Knave, Relic, Magic Soap, and Debts. Gods and Merlini, we all know who the standout player is among Shadowfiend Eats Cake roster. Relic had amazing games on Wednesday. He was a human highlight reel. And do you think he can have that kind of success up in the middle, probably against Fogged in this game? Or is this going to be a real big reality check for him?
I think he can still play solid and do well in the matchup. I just don't think he's going to get the kind of freebies that Dark Falco gave. Dark Falco gave him these skills that you don't normally get or you can't expect to get in a one-on-one matchup. But I still think we'll see him play really well in the mid lane. I don't see him getting outlaned and beaten by Fog, like Fog did a bit in their opening match against Stay Free, but it'll be a lot tougher, and it's going to really have to come down to him to sort of lift his team up, and also his team at the same time have to lift up their game if they want to stand a chance against Dignitas.
Yeah, I don't think that Fog can pick an underhanded matchup for himself if he wants to win the mid lane. Like, I think Darkseer versus Shadowfiend, he won as Darkseer. He can't do that versus Relic.
Yeah, I'd love to see a Relic Shadowfiend again, but I definitely agree that picking a matchup that's a bit more balanced is going to be a key thing for Dignitas.
I think that Dignitas roster is a lot deeper though. Like, I think even if the solo lanes are a wash, which I don't fully expect them to be, I think it'll go slightly in favor of Dignitas because Fogged and Infinity are really strong players. I think that the supports of Dignitas are just a lot stronger than the other teams. I think you talked about it last time, like Bricks was a little bit underwhelming, as well as a couple of other teams. And if your solo lanes are of equal skill, then it really comes down to the other 3 players.
Yep.
And we're in game now. You guys can go ahead and take over for the Kegs.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome to our final game of the day. A best of 2 between Team Dignitas.
Final matches, I guess, of the day. Not final game.
Final series. Final series. Okay. Final series of the day. Team Dignitas up against Shadowfiend Eats Cake.
80-20 is the spread.
No love for Relic.
That's the odds. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was about the same.
If this was like the opening match for Shadowfiend Eats Cake, it'd probably be like 85, 90, 10 or something. So
you have to give some level of respect to Shadowfiend Eats Cake.
Would you take those odds? 20%?
No, simply because I think it's a BO2, and that means that Shadowfiend East Cake has to win 2 without Dignitas winning 1. It really depends on the format.
Draw, you get your res back. So. Okay. Yeah, I think taking 1 game off, possible. Taking 2.
Yeah, because it looked like Dignitas in their second game, they were just like, hey, we won first game pretty easily. We can just mess around and make a few mistakes like they did in the off lane. Just like, oh, 2v4, hey, let's still go in. But if they actually lose one game where Shadowfiend needs cake, I think they're just going to like turn up their game and just like play super serious. Like go for a safer build on anti-mage too, not with the basher, which was completely unnecessary. It almost cost them the game. And just go like super serious, super anti-fun, even though they did pick anti-mage.
Well, Shadowfiend Needs Cakes have started things off with a very safe and standard Darkseer pick, which I really like. It's a good way to go.
They banned Abaddon. Apparently, Abaddon is like really annoying, and opting for no OD ban, which is also apparently pretty annoying.
Yeah, I mean, you were calling Abaddon out about being the useless most useless hero of the new ones. But,
Troll's a little useless too.
Yeah, Troll's. He seems very situational.
I think it's Troll, Abaddon, Elder Titan, and Centaur. I actually think Centaur's really good.
I have Elder Titan as number one on that list, but Centaur's the only one of those four who's been picked not at all. So
yeah,
he's got some proving to do.
Why not? He's awesome.
Goblik picked him once.
That burst is insane. If you have Shadow Demon on your team, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous the amount of burst that he provides.
I guess you're banking entirely on the laning stage working out there. Here to go.
I mean, Stampede is incredible for global team fights. He can jungle too. He has an AoE stun.
I don't think Centaur can really jump.
Dude, he has return.
Level 1 jungle return, Centaur. Bro.
It's not that bad if you use double stack of small camp. I think he's good.
Okay.
Just get 4 gauntlets of strength for max return damage. Dude, I think he's like 50% at level 1. I think or something. It's absurd. I'm telling you, that hero's underrated. He used to be competitive. I think that was when he was crappier too. That was when he had great fortitude and not an active ultimate and worse stat gain. So now he has like better stat gain and
a better ultimate.
Double edge costs no mana. Yeah. It used to cost 75. And
double edge is an AoE now as well.
Yeah. See, the hero is awesome. He's underrated. That horsey, got some fire in him.
We're seeing something come out from Shadowfiend Needs Cake.
Oh,
anti-mage, which is an early anti-mage pick. Also something which I imagine Dignitas will just see right up and say, okay, we're going offensive trialing. They've got Visage. I guess they got the Nyx Assassin as well, which isn't ideal for offensive trialing. But if they can get something like a Gyrocopter, it doesn't really matter you go offensive trialing. Or will Gyrocopter banned out right off the bat? So
I don't know. I actually don't think Nyx Assassin is that good in Triple A, especially not versus anti-mage. Yeah. He doesn't really have anything to offer. He doesn't have a max duration stun at level 1, firstly. It's only 1 second long.
Yeah.
Mana Burn, pretty useless for some. His intel is very low. Spell Shield will block majority of the damage, and Carapace is just like so. I mean, if you can reflect a Mana Void later, sure, it's great. But I think that depending on what Shadowfiend needs cake, I would actually opt for like a Shadow Demon and just like try and shut him down that way, force him to not get mana break early. And if he ever blinks in, all you do is just disrupt him, and he has to run away from his own image.
And they can go Nyx Assassin as a solo mid. I think that would almost be like a...
If they pick like Queen of Pain, you definitely put Nyx Assassin solo mid and then try and pair something better versus anti-mage, I'd say.
They ban out the OD, so just making sure that they have a favorable one-way matchup. You don't really want to pick the OD against anti-mage, especially if you want to pressure him and just take the early to mid-game. OD is not that mobile, can't really rotate all too well. And then also you don't want your meteor reversing him. So I think it's a smart ban.
I think Alchemist is a very smart ban because he does a lot of physical damage with just his right clicks, his unstable concoction. He has a lot of minus armor, and anti-mage is very susceptible to dying to physical damage. So very smart ban by them. What other heroes are very good at shutting down anti-mage? If they have a snowballing mid, then they can just orchid him. They do have a surge to kind of protect him. So we will see. I think that Shadowfiend Cake could take Shadow Demon themselves. I mean, that hero's kind of fallen by the wayside, surprisingly, in my opinion.
What was it? The disruption something got nerfed.
I mean, Shadow Poison doesn't give vision.
Oh, I mean, that's quite a big nerf.
Yeah, I mean, like Wisp balls don't give vision.
Yeah.
But we still see Wisp played.
That's true. I definitely think Shadow Demon. They would need something like either the Lina or Leshrac. I mean, just go for that traditional like.
Right. That's so good though.
Yeah.
Left stun into. I mean, I don't know what really happened to that. It's just like kind of, hey, we have Visage now. We don't need it anymore. Or like a Weaver kind of gets.
If you want an offensive trialing, this is something which Orange used to love doing. Is you go farming Windrunner in your offensive trialing, and with the Visage, and that kind of could either fit the Nyx Assassin as a support in there, or even just get another strong setup stun.
I like the Windrunner as a like solo farm in the lane because A, she's really hard to kill. 2, she has like max range, which you can't say about most of the other carry farmers like anti-mage, melee, gyrocopter, not maximum range, and that just really helps you like shut down an anti-mage if both supports choose to rotate.
And it's cool because when you're trialing versus trialing, your farm if you're especially in the offensive trialing isn't going to get like proper carry farm, and then you basically turn your solo. Like you pick an SF, who's not going to get ganked because you're tri-lane versus tri-lane. You pick a Storm Spirit, whatever it is that you want to be your kind of semi-carries. Your carries become your solo here as well. Your tri-lane farmer isn't really your true farmer.
So they do have a relatively long disable for the anti-mage if it ever gets to that. If Windrunner gets Shackle or a Hex later, that's going to be a lot of trouble for anti-mage. And here goes a Shadow Demon. So more like going back into maybe a few months ago playstyle where anti-mage Shadow Demon was like really, really good for defensive triple.
It's the LGD style.
And Mouse.
Yeah, Mouse love this.
So it's definitely not. It's nothing that Team Dignitas has not seen before. So they should be adequately prepared to it. I mean, they need some sort of physical damage. They need long disables or silences. So they have Shackle. They have a lot of bursts with Nyx Assassin and physical damage with Vendetta and the Familiars and the Bird Stun. So I think their lineup is like decent at handling anti-mage, but the problem is that the coordination is like you have to like coordinate it very, very well, and if the delicate timing can be ruined by a defensive disrupt.
Yeah, going offensive tri-lane against Shadow Demon Lina Anti-Mage, it could backfire very badly. Like you mentioned how their dual lane backfired. It's just tri-lane versus tri-lane, so they won't have that numbers disadvantage, so to speak. But it's something which, if it doesn't, the lane doesn't work out for them, it's going to cost them unless they dominate their solo 1v1 matchups. And I imagine Shadowfiend Cake will be maybe preparing for some of that, starting thinking about what they want to get Relic. And I think having Shadowfiend, having that, not just the anti-mage is your only carry is a good way to go. You've got Darkseid to give both these heroes a lot of space, protection, and basically he covers all your team fights. Sure, neither anti-mage...
If they get a mag, though.
You think they should go mag mid? I think that's like too all in.
Is that too greedy? I
don't think it's greedy. I think it's not greedy enough.
It's not greedy enough. Oh, I think it would just like they always have a fallback plan, right?
There we go.
If I guess it's a moot point now. But if they get behind, if anti-mage loses his lane, which he does sometimes, you can just vacuum RP one team fight, and it's like you're way back in the game, right? Like Storm Spirit, if Storm Spirit gets behind, like he's boned.
I think the problem is if anti-mage gets behind, then you need like another carry hero picking up the slack, which you don't have if you have Mag and Darkseid.
Right. Oh, so you prefer the 2 carry as opposed to super powered anti-mage? I love the Superman anti-mage with Empower.
But if you're the Superman anti-mage and you get offensive tri-lane and don't farm well,
then you catch ancient stack and you empower cleave them down.
Who's going to ancient stack?
Their offlane hooker maybe. Nathan Prophet?
But he's got a 1v1 matchup.
Your supports, whatever.
you can't go ancient stack. He's got a 1v1 matchup.
They could do offensive triple. We've seen people do that before. But I prefer Superman. I think the two carry strat is too farm dependent and boring.
I like this Dignitas lineup. This is just like early game covered, mid game.
I'm surprised Weaver lasted that far.
Yeah, that's actually very true. They've got so many possibilities with these lanes. I think we're going to see something like a safe lane Weaver and offensive tri lane with the Windrunner, but they've got so many possibilities.
So if they were watching the stream last week, which hopefully Dignitas were, or at least they watched the replays, they know what to do to shut down Shadowfiend's Cake. Knave wasn't actually the carry, I believe. I think it was Bricks instead of Knave. So I'm not exactly sure how good his carrying potential is, but from what we saw last week, Relic was like by and large like the best person on their team, and even if you gave their carry a lot of space, he wouldn't able to free farm that well. So I think if they just concentrate a lot of their efforts on Storm Spirit early, perhaps with an early rotation from Nyx and Visage, very early smokes, and just like constant pressure up mid, like constant vendetta ganks on them, I think they can win this easily.
Well, Dignitas have definitely checked out the last games. They're already talking up Relic. Fog saying he's going to get exposed by him.
Dark Falco Jr.
Dark Falco Jr.
Wow. More like Dark Falco Senior.
Dark Falco Jr.
Oh, Fog is. Okay. Well, introducing the side of Dignitas, we have Fog Dota on the solo mid, Beastmaster Korok on the farming Windrunner in the aggressive triple lane. We have PPD on the Visage, Infinity on the solo safe lane, and on the Weaver, and 1437 on the Nyx Assassin. So again, we see Infinity playing the solo safe lane. They seem to aggressive triple lane a lot, and it's mostly worked out for them.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where they're just confident that they can just make better decisions about when to engage.
Already Nom's off to a bad start because they don't know where the wards are.
Yeah. Well, over on the Radiant side, it's Team Nom or Shadowfiend Eats Cake. They said Nom is the sound Shadowfiend makes when he eats cake.
Doesn't everybody make that sound when they eat cake?
That's what I thought.
Why wouldn't you just name it Nom Nom Nom?
We have got Knave playing the anti-mage. Just switch up on the roles. Shadow Demon being played by Moshi. We're going to have in the mid lane, it's Relic, the star player, playing that Storm Spirit. We're going to have Notamon on the Earthshake.
Bricks is taking a lot of damage on top.
Darkseid. Pain. He's not... Well, he may have to... He's got Surge.
Oh wow.
That's lane lost. I'm pretty. Isn't it?
That's look at how much damage he did. He did like a good 300 damage.
He's got tons of regen. Okay, not lane lost.
Well, I thought actually Infinity was like going to go over to here and just like block him after the Sakushi and then just like own him with the DD, but that didn't actually happen.
Yeah. Well, he'll use 2
Where are the
Tankos
big
up.
plays? Yeah, I mean, it did a lot of damage.
This Earthshaker's starting off mid.
Don't be satisfied with what happened.
Whoa, we need to talk about this Earthshaker. He's got bottle first, and he's sitting mid. He's Ancients Earthshaker. This is how you beat Dignitas. You pull out some gimmicky strats, like an Earthshaker with a bottle, and this look. I mean, Fog talked about how he's going to get beat mid. Well, when he's missing creep waves, he's definitely going to get beat mid. How's he going to get experience? Wow. And this is the best possible camp to get because this is like the easiest camp to kill.
Yeah. Wow. What a lucker.
If you get golems or the dragons, you're not killing him.
Well, the problem with Earthshaker's actually is he going to... I don't understand why he's blocking again because the creep waves...
Denying more experience? It's not going to Ooh.
I mean, it's not going to respawn,
Yeah.
right?
I guess he really wants to just kill this.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so.
But
okay.
He can always share his bottle with the Storm if needed. I guess Storm will want to get his own bottle anyways. But...
So they actually fixed the Thunder High so they actually cast their spells properly. Like before, they would just cast it like on cooldown, and like even when there was nobody there, which is very, very strange.
They clapped themselves.
Yeah.
It counted like ally units basically. I don't even know.
So now PPG is up there. See, they're so good at reacting. For example, we talked about how like they were constantly stacking with Tinker. Hopefully, they can drop a Sentry Ward over there because that will hurt him in mid a lot.
Yeah, he needs to get in there and block that. It looks like we'll see that in just a second. Earthshaker's going to go for another Fissure, but I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be respawning in 2 minutes. So well-timed Sentry.
Yeah, they know exactly what's happening. This is the difference in between a team like Dignitas and a team like whatever we saw with the that just let the Tinker just run away with everything. Like we already see a rotation from this Visage, and they're blocking at 2 minutes. And I think the first time we saw a reaction from the other team was like 19 minutes in it. That makes a world of difference. Now Fog won't be screwed in middle because they have to buy a Sentry Ward. He has to walk over there and he has to de-ward it, and most likely it won't happen before the 3-minute mark.
Also securing the top rune for the Beastmaster, who does have his bottle up now. So that's going to help him out a lot. Visit just in a good place. Earthshaker now probably just going to go help out this Trylon at bottom, or just camp behind mid. He could actually go for a kill on this mid lane if he really wants. I mean,
Relic might be going for a kill in mid, but the block just not being enough.
Needed to get that render down. It's not going to happen. And PPD just lurk around this mid lane. Nothing too much cooking, but you mentioned that you don't think they should have put a mismatch mid. Storm definitely has the advantage against the Beastmaster.
Well, we will see on... I'm curious to see whether this Earthshaker will be able to de-ward it before the 3-minute mark. I don't think so. Nope. He won't be.
No, this takes too many
That's
hits.
a shame. So, I mean, it's not that bad. He's only gotten 1 pull in the first 4 minutes, so it's still going okay for them, I think. And Visage can just go up there and de-ward the ward as well as Sentry. So it'll be 1 Sentry Ward
Relic
for...
taking damage at mid.
Ooh, is he going to die?
Decided to go for the Courier instead.
Earthshaker actually went for Enchant Totem level 2. I guess that's what you're supposed to do when you Ancient.
Oh, I called attention to the bottle on Earthshaker. Let's call attention to the Anti-Mage. 0 CS so far.
0.
This
wow.
win run, a perfect last hitting so far. Well, I mean, not getting everything, but making sure Anti-Mage does not come near.
0-0.
He's got
oh
6 Tangos and a Salve. He should just be going for last hits.
Or get a Quelling Blade.
It's a dual lane. They know the Visage is mid, so...
Where's the Shadow Demon? The Shadow Demon Anti-Mage is supposed to crush.
Shadow Demon was there. He just left for the 4-minute rune. He wants to contest the 4-minute rune, but Anti-Mage having a
there's a
tough
block
time.
that didn't actually end up blocking.
Ah, unfortunate. So is Visage was trying to go into just body block I think the 4-minute spawn, but Earthshaker's on top of it. Gets an Observer down, and will.
I think he can just pop it in like way far in because he can see him drop the Sentry Ward. But oh well.
Well, we'll see Stormster continue doing his thing at mid lane. He's
Wow,
got 24
another
CS.
Thunder Hide spawn. What in the world? This guy is the lucker.
I guess in some ways it's okay if you get the golems or the dragons
then you can
because
kill more creeps.
you pull the second one, so you deny
Right.
2 waves. Because the problem with this Thunderclappers is he only denied like 1 wave plus 1 melee creep. So maybe it's actually worse.
So looking at mid, it looks like Relic is heavily out CSing Fog, but mostly because of this deny.
Oh, first blood happens at bottom lane. It's the Shadow Demon getting caught out. And that's just
He had an illusion rune too. Like, why is this one illusion just sitting right here? Shouldn't it be scouting? It's a dual lane. These shouldn't happen. And I talked a little bit about how like the weak links, like they might drag them down, and Shadow Demon should not be giving up first blood to a dual lane, especially when he picks an illusion rune. Anti-mage should have more than 0 CS 5 minutes in, especially for a dual lane. And this might just cost him a game. Sure, Relic is having a decent time as his Earthshaker, and they're denying Fog a little bit, but that's just too much to give up, I think.
They're giving so much to Dignitas right now. And this is what happens when you go up against a team like Dignitas. You just play more cautious than you should be. This Anti-Mage is probably, I mean, he knows he needs to play safe and be cautious. He doesn't want to die is the main thing, but if it's coming at this heavy a cost, it's completely not worth it.
He's also not going for the 1-1-1 build, the burning build.
Oh, yeah. He's not being aggressive. He's not harassing, so it feels so unnecessary getting the extra points.
Team Nom's looking for a new carry player.
Shots fired.
Well,
you know what I'd love to see teams doing against Dignitas? Is the Earthshaker, well, not the Earthshaker act, but just the Earthshaker storing creeps at the top lane, unleashing it for that big, like, 4 or 5 minute push that someone highlighted on Reddit.
Yeah, I think they have enough AoE to deal with. 2 axes would just own it.
That's true. I guess
so much money.
I guess Beastmaster would rotate since he'd be like level 5 by then.
They have enough AoE to deal with. Windrunner too. So I think
I would love to see a team actually try that in a competitive game sometime.
The problem with that is I think most teams drive at least a couple of AoE spells or draft, like Earthshaker's AoE.
And if they see it
Darkseer's
happening,
AoE.
they'll put those AoE heroes in the solo, like solo mid or in the offlane getting experience. So
Right.
that
I mean, even level 1 Ion Shell, like double Ion Shell could just take it out.
Yeah,
Like you don't even need levels, to be honest.
yeah, because that will even drag it off the tower.
Yeah.
So note to players out there dealing with it, pick Darkseer.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Storm's level 7. He's picked himself up a TP scroll, so he's ready to rotate to other lanes. Not to mention, he's starting to build towards his
look
crest.
at how aggressively this Dire team is playing inside the Radiant jungle. They're just like complete jack and creep pool. They just don't give a care in the world. But they gave Anti-Mage 1 CS though.
Ooh.
How dare they?
Dignitas may get punished for that. Speaking of getting punished, Darkseer at the top lane gets caught out. Weave it with the Visage.
So
Visage has been doing a really good job of rotating around the map with the hero not known for being very mobile.
This is what I like about Dignitas. They're just moving around the map, doing unconventional things, like a roaming Visage who does that. But he's been being very effective at it, and this is what differentiates good teams between the bad teams. They do other stuff. Sure they have this like shenanigans with the Earthshaker, but it got dewarded, and he's been like doing a little bit since. But the Visage has picked up 2 kills already, killing the Darkseer, which is very, very important. And Infinity also goes forward as very stat heavy build often with Weaver. He just picked up Swarm at actually level 8 and went for he usually gets a lot of stats when he plays Weaver. I usually see him go for a 1-4-1 build.
Oh wow.
That's what I've seen him do before. I actually like it a lot because you don't get bursted down.
Yeah,
typically.
the plus HP definitely helps a lot on a hero like that.
And in mid, we see Relic just get absolutely.
The punishments begin.
Yeah.
Nyx is also level 6 now, so that was a Beastmaster roll. Next game coming in could be a Nyx Assassin Vendetta.
Yeah, things are looking very, very bad for them. Like Relic is their like pride and joy in this game. How is he going to catch up in this? And Earthshaker he's level 4. He's doing okay in farm, but Anti-Mage, they second pick the hero. When you second pick a hero, you better have a good plan for him and not let him have 5 CS.
That's like riskier than anything. You're versing Dignitas. Talk about if they want to play safe. They're showing they want to play safe. Second picking Anti-Mage
what I like to see teams do is just pick 5 early game heroes. If you can't win the early game, then you're just clearly outclassed. But if you win the early game, then you go a little bit more greedy. And then once you get past the laning phase, then things should be a little bit better. And just go all out for that. And if you can do that, then maybe you can throw them off. But with like a very standard or like greedy / safe playstyle like this, Dignitas are just going to take full advantage of it.
Well, we'll see Dignitas with a big lead here. We're just 9 minutes in, but they've got a 4,000 gold lead. An experience lead getting close to that as well. Yeah. For only 3 kills. This is just coming from the sheer farm. The only hero with actual farm is Storm Spirit. Darkseer's doing okay-ish, but even he's getting pretty badly beat at top lane.
Do you think this is going to be a faster game than the first game that Dignitas played?
It was like 20-something
minutes?
Yeah. It's hard to say. They haven't... actually, they've got a really good pushing lineup in some ways with a Beastmaster who could go Aura. They're going to have Familiars.
He went
Aura
already.
damage.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how many points he does end up going. So often you'll have Beastmaster just get the single point in the Aura, since it's very cost-effective at level 1, then doesn't scale amazing.
Oh, here comes the gank.
Yeah.
There are the Sentry Ward.
They're ready for it. Storm's actually going to go for the kill on Nyx. He's not going to get the Carapace off, but there's a Roar. Now he gets a Vendetta hit with the Carapace. Defensive Disruption nicely used. They're going to keep Relic alive, and he gets the kill. He's going to maybe get more than this. He's going to zip his way out of there.
I'm very surprised that Nyx Assassin didn't save his Impale. He could have just timed it after the disruption and just straight up killed the Storm Spirit.
Oh, Axe is coming in from the side, so he's looking for the Shadow Demon. Fog's actually in trouble now. He's going to get pulled in. Relic Dota.
Relic Dota, indeed.
He may have...
Dark Falco Jr.
Look, this guy gets like 3-man gank, 4-man gank. He gets everything going against him. But
They were, I mean,
he finds a way.
at least Nom knows that they have to kill him. They have to make him win his lane, whether it be
This is-
Earthshaker fooling, dropping sentries for him, Earthshaker sitting behind him. They know that Relic is important to their team.
And it wasn't the Shadow Demon who decided to put a Sentry Ward there. That was Relic saying, dude, get here now, bring Sentry Wards. I'm going to get ganked by this Nyx.
Yeah, I mean, it is very predictable though. I guess that is
Yeah.
also what happens when you have like a good player in your team. They're like, hey, we're gonna focus so many resources on them, but they can devote even more to protect them.
Relic knows the Dignitas' game plan is just to try and gank him. Like, well, if you put your mindset in the Nyx, you're thinking, gank Anti-Mage? Why? They don't know his exact CS, but they know he's completely shut down.
That's the problem with, like, if they actually had a good
Oh, top
anti-mage, I think that...
They found the next target, Iron Shell Storm Spirit. Not going to be enough damage. He's still going for this, maybe. He's trying to find this Weaver. He's going to have a time-lapse there. He's going to time-lapse now fairly early. He's actually going for the kill on the Darkseid. Darkseid has a surge. Just going to surge out of there.
Yeah, see,
A bit over-ambitious.
I like this build. He went Strength Treads too, so, like, he's not going to die to just a Storm Spirit pool.
Yeah.
Like, there's not enough burst on their team,
That
which
was
is why I
very
like it. Oh, Knave on bottom lane. Shackle barely misses.
The Familiar's starting to be able to lock him down in place. He's going to pop that salve now, but this Anti-Mage needs some space. Actually, the Familiar. The tower actually stopped taking the Familiar. I thought that was maybe going to get the kill there, but we'll see them look for maybe another Shackle here. Korok, he's level 8 with Phase Boots and 2.7k gold. I think he goes Shadowblade. That's definitely a Korok item for Windrunner.
Is he
And
gonna
here
go
comes
Shadowblade?
Beastmaster. I don't know. Roar onto the Anti-Mage, trying to pop the Shadow Demon. Who's going to disrupt himself? Nave's going to actually blink out.
Who's going to kill the Shadow
Oh,
Demon?
Dude, who cares about the Shadow Demon? Okay, they get the Shadow Demon. They get the Shackle following him after Blink and barely
Yeah, that's
latches him
huge.
to a tree.
Oh, it is a Shadowblade. You know Korok way too well.
It's one of those just items you get on Windrunner
They
when
have
you're
3
like,
invis
you feel like
heroes now, though.
You feel like you're stomping and you're like, what do I get? I suddenly have 3k gold as Windrunner. You're like, Shadowblade.
Yeah, I think if they just got a mech, though, they could just, like, push him.
It's
Or-
Korok though. This is like,
This is true.
this is the playmaker. He's not going no mech.
Oh, well, it looks like Beastmaster's actually for mech. No arcanes though, so I think that would delay their like push a lot if they don't have any arcanes.
This is the Korok playstyle. Meanwhile, top lane Weaver being super aggressive. He was actually behind the tier 2 tower doing some decent harass to this Darkseid, who's building a mech of his own just with that buckler.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next? Relic is going to be building an Orchid. No surprises there, but this is a tough game for him. There's so much disable, so much lockdown. Another Sentry comes in, immediately dewards Observer Ward, but that's almost one of those Observer Wards you put just so you know when there's a Sentry there as well.
Mm-hmm.
As much as the Observer Ward's nice, now Nyx knows he's not going to have the Vendetta in.
Well, I mean, they are getting a decent amount of farm, but Earthshaker's like very, very poor. He's at 600 gold. He had started off with a bottle. I expected a little bit more from him, but is Relic's Orchid actually going to do anything? I'm worried about Infinity, just because he's been doing so much.
Yeah, there's your Shadowblade. Solo kills Anti-Mage.
That's scary,
That's
to say the least.
He's just Anti-Mage can't farm anywhere. This bottom lane's not safe, nowhere safe. And there's 2 supports. They're spending all their time protecting Relic. It wasn't this way. Earthshaker was helping Relic by denying a lot of experience, but they committed all this to Relic that Anti-Mage is so far behind now that there's just no recovering. It feels like not to say I feel like Anti-Mage could have got more even though he was left somewhat alone, but it's
disappointing.
It was mostly a dual lane because Visage left very early, so it was a Shadow Demon.
Yeah, he left
Anti-Mage.
like 1 minute in, I'd say.
Yeah, he came immediately to try block this Ancient Camp, and then never returned to bottom lane. So it was dual lane versus dual lane. It was a Nyx Windrunner, but Windrunner just seemed to have that CS battle in lock.
This is also why you always have Sentry Wards as a support. Even if you're going aggressive, triple, like sentries are still useful to take down opponents' Observer Wards, to block spawns if necessary. Like you still just have to have it in. PPD was prepared for this situation.
Yeah, bottom lane, there's going to be a disruption down on Korok. Have they even got vision? They've got Sentry Wards on Earthshaker, but they're not killing this guy. They actually dropped the Sentry Ward. As
He knows that. He knows
Yeah.
that they have a ward there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to take out the Sentry Ward, or the Observer
That's a
Wards.
value Sentry when you're just using it.
Now you indeed.
Using it just to give vision of a Shadowblade. They weren't even going to kill him, but luckily,
1437 looking for Soren Sphere, but he is at the safety of his T2. Look how scared they are right now. Like Storm can't even come up to. He's like hiding back at his T2. Anti-Mage looks like he might die again.
Oh no, is Anti-Mage? Yeah.
I mean, I guess this Shadow Blade is definitely paying off. If he can, he's killed him twice already. That must be so demoralizing as the anti-mage. Like, he just can't do anything at this point. He can't catch up. He can't like stay close to his T2 and farm. He just gets solo killed by Korok.
Yeah, when you can be solo killed, that's just your worst nightmare as a hero who's trying to farm the safe lane. You see 4 heroes on map, you're like, oh, maybe I can farm, but Winran's just coming out solo killing him. Yeah. And Weaver's going to get a tier 2 top tower. This is looking very, very over this game, to be frank with you, Merlini.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, Stormsphere is not going to have his Orchid at a relative time. Anti-Mage is just a burden at this point. Anti-Mage or Earthshaker is not close to his Blink or Force Staff or wherever he's going to go. Darkseer is close to a mech, which is their saving grace, but at the same time, like, Nom is not even close to taking out any T1s, and Dignitas are already pushing the T2s.
Yeah, well, we're going to see Relic get caught up. He gets raw defensive disruption. Fissure also using
Oh, what an impale.
Yeah, perfectly timed. 1437. That's Chinese training regime.
Good play.
LGD
Good play right there.
Yeah.
I mean, they used Roar on him. Defensive Disrupt came rather timely, but the cast point from the...
I think they need to save the Fissure for
Yeah,
when he's
that's
coming,
true.
for when he's coming out.
They panicked. They panicked a little bit too much.
I mean, you can't really blame the Earthshaker. It's one of those things where it's like, you see him get roared, your immediate thought is Fissure, try and save him. It's not really, I mean, that's just how...
Yeah, you don't want to be in that situation where like, hey, I thought you were going to disrupt. No, I thought you were going to Fissure, and then he just dies without anything happening.
It's not so much of a mistake, more just like a theory crafting. They could have saved him if they saved him.
There's already a Lincoln and a Treads up on Weaver. He is stacked. Like,
yeah, Darkseer immediate surge, doesn't want to have anything to do with that top lane.
I mean, he's taking down 2 towers too. Like, Infinity's such a beast in a solo lane. All he had was help from the Visage one time in early ganking the Darkseer, and he's just been giving so much room because...
126. Oh, Antimage ganked again at bottom lane. He's not going to get this kill, it doesn't look like. But a Windrun under tower, he's chasing it. No, he's not. He thought about chasing it.
See, this is why I don't like the max mana break build, because when you're behind, mana break is not useful at all. You need to be able to survive so you can blink and escape. So you don't die in a Vendetta, Impale combo from a Roar, from a Shackle, whatever it may be, you just have to survive.
Well, this T2 tower does not stand a chance. Familiar's behind the tower, just zoning out these heroes. PPD, Peter Pandam, he's been playing well. Visage seems to be one of those heroes which he's just got unlocked, and there's not much.
I think you just got to ban it versus them.
Not much Shadowfiend cake can do right now. It's hard to know what do you ban against Dignitas. You mentioned that we can't let the Wisp through. I can't remember what was their other ban?
I mean, you can't let Bat through.
There was an Abaddon ban by Dignitas.
Right.
I'm not sure who banned the Bat. I think it may have been Dignitas, but even so...
OD maybe?
Yeah, OD was banned.
So what do you ban versus Dignitas?
I think this is I don't think this game came down to the draft so much as just Dignitas outclassing opponents. And,
well, I mean, anti-mage early pick did that.
Yeah, okay, I think with that regard, it came down to the draft.
He has Treads, 18 minutes in.
This is
a very early Roshan. They have Medallion up on the Visage, and with the Inner Beastar, as well as all of these 4 heroes right-clicking them in a slow from the 4, this thing will go down very, very easily.
Yeah, easy peasy. Korok's going to have... I think he's got his Orchid flying out just now. He's a great... This Weaver has 136 CS.
This is what I like to see. Like, Infinity had just been putting a lot of pressure by himself. He's not playing, like, super safe. He's still, like, playing very aggressively. Like, on top lane, he, like, saved his time lapse, like, very, very late. And he, like, was all up in this area once the T2 is down and, like, solo pushes a lot. This is what I like to see because they are playing very riskily, they're getting a lot of reward out of it. Like, they just get 2 free towers on the left side, and since he's around it, they're like, hey, are they going to push here? Are they going to gank here? They don't really know what Dignitas is up to, especially with no wars on the map right now, and they just get a free Roshan because they have this player that is able to put pressure around the map.
Earthshaker at the tier 3 tower gets immediately zoned out. He gets Orchid Power Shot. Korok gets some serious fight there, and making that Power Shot do bonus damage as Earthshaker is going to be forced back to probably heal up. Tier 2 tower will go down uncontested. Infinity's going to be building towards a Desolate, and once they have that, sieging these tier 3 towers will become a lot easier, because as far ahead as they are, almost 20,000 gold at 19 minutes to be precise, sieging high ground is still difficult.
I'm surprised that Beastmaster picked up the Aegis. I think that once you get Roar, you should, after that, you should probably be able to mech before you die, because they don't have any super long disables, and like after that, you're like not that useful.
Putting it on, probably Korok would have been nice here. Weaver, it's okay, but I don't see Weaver dying unless he makes a big mistake.
Windrunner might not die either. She has Windrun, she has Silence, she has Shackle, she has Shadow Blade. She has a lot of tools available in her arsenal. I mean, if no Damon, whether I don't know how to say that, no Damon, no Damon on the Earthshaker gets a Blink Dagger, I think they can hold and delay. But at the same time, I think it's delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, delay
because
for what?
if Storm Spirit or Anti-Mage farm out alone, they're dead to Korok. Yeah. They can't carry a gem around. They can't have sentries everywhere, and they can't just farm her T3, or they're just gonna get starved and die.
Imagine if they had a mag instead of a Storm. I think this game would be going even worse for them.
This is true. But, I mean, at least you have the comeback potential, right? How are they going to win a team fight?
Relic's Invis Fog gonna actually use his Raw on Relic. No chance of getting that kill. That was a bit ambitious. I mean, they've been Earthshaker, Shadow Demon, Sing behind the Storm from minute 5, and they're going to continue to do so.
Well, still defending. There's like no damage on this T3 yet, but Infinity is slowly but surely pushing out the top lane. Looks like he is going for a Desolator. It will come in just a bit, though. They have a reserve reward down this hill. I think it's time for them to pick up a gem.
Yeah, I think Dignitas are happy just to 4-man Siege. They know they probably won't be able to get this tier 3 tower anytime soon, but they'll have Weaver chipping away at the top tier 3 soon, and not to mention with a Desolator. They just really want that Desolator up. Is it? Oh, he's already got the recipe, so he didn't even need that. So he's got it now, and this split push and Siege is going to be very hard.
Yeah, high risk, high reward. I mean, they have a lot of farm heroes on there. Korok is like super farm right now. They have Weaver that's super farmed, and Nom just can't punish them all around the map.
Latches. Bricks, Darkseer in a bit of trouble here. Gonna have Storm zip in. Actually goes on Nyx Assassin, gets a Carapace off, and he gets blown up because of Fissure just half a second too late. 1437 does get taken out by a Mana Void Knave, making things happen as...
That is 4v5 too, mind you.
Ugly, ugly, ugly. And there's not going to be any Storm back in this fight. He hasn't got any gold. He's buying piece by piece his Orchid
Look
Malevolence.
at this top tower and bottom tower. They can't do anything about it. No solo hero can stop Infinity, and that's a GG, 21 minutes in.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
A new fastest game here in the MLG North American League.
Yes. That was ugly.
I think Dignitas were probably thinking to themselves, like, that game earlier today against Stay Free was embarrassing.
The second game?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
They
mess around too much.
At the same time, like, they messed around too much, but at the same time, it was like they weren't like purposely like trolling. They just made some really bad decisions, and they're like, we can't have that happen. We've got to just come out and stomp these.
But that was the second game. I think they were getting lackadaisical after their first easy game. We might see the same thing in this series, so don't completely count Nom out. Although I think it will have to be Dignitas like playing badly in order for them.
It's too full protect Relic right now. The other players have to lift their game. They also have to anticipate these Dignitas offensive trial and just get more solid lanes. Go with a super standard safe trial lane. The Darkseer first pick, great.
Take Visage too.
Yeah.
Either take Visage or ban Visage. Don't give it to Dignitas.
Yeah, if you give it away, you have to make like one of the strongest trial lanes possible. But that concludes game 1, guys, of this Dignitas versus Nom or Shadowfiend Eats Cakes best of 2. One more game will be coming up. Back to you in the MLG studio, MY John. What did you think of game number 1?
I don't know if there was much to think about it at all. That was just a classic Dignitas performance. They looked really solid top to bottom. I mean, you guys said it in-game. The fact that there was regen available for Anti-Mage and he wasn't taking advantage, trying to get at least some last hits early, the fact that they picked him so early on in the draft, it was definitely an indication that Dignitas would want to go aggressive, and they took full advantage. So, you know, Dignitas are going to be able to spell out anyone that's trying to, you know, cheese them a little bit, because their experience over the last couple of years, even though it is a new squad, all these players have been around forever. So you're going to have to really bring something to the table that's more formidable than what they had this game if your Shadowfiend Eats Cake. So we'll get an opportunity to see if they can rebound from that in game 2 potentially. We're going to head to a break, but before we head to run a highlight video of Relic from Wednesday night, because he was a human highlight reel. He even had some great plays in that last game despite the losing effort. So we'll watch the video and we'll come back and have game 2 ready for you guys. Stick with us.
Is going to be brought down. Clockwork Rocket comes flying in, and Shadowfiend actually bring down Rubik.
Is he going to get a second kill as well? Oh, goodness gracious.
He'd be actually coming in from Shadowfiend. He's going to pop an ultimate. This is definitely a dead Nagasang. Can he get any more, though? It doesn't look like he's going to keep
spot
up.
on with his raise.
And here he is in game 2, 4-0 at just 12 minutes in the game, and he's going to get tracked out behind his tier 1 tower here. Cakes going to get some vision here. He can just pop the ultimate, though, and he's going to do just that. Cakes is going to get brought down, while Shadowfiend's still alive, coming back in for another raise, and he gets the kill. He's got a BKB up. He's thrown on the cliff. Annoying. He's going to turn around and drop Razor so and get a kill. Tiny gets lifted up. He's going to be in a bit of trouble. He gets actually pushed out of the corner. The corner not going to hit a whole lot here, except for the Desage, and there comes the Naga Siren Sleep, but SF is just going to keep on man fighting. He's taking on this
taking on the Gyrocopter. Will hit a hook shot finally. Cogs in 2. Alchemist is going to be blocked off by the Cogs. The Cogs are keeping his own teammate away. And as a result, Clockwork goes down. Alchemist actually gets lifted in by telekinesis. Sleep is there, and the BKB hero gets ensnared up. Brix is being brought down, but Shadowfiend, all that swag is coming into play. He's trying to bring down heroes left, right, and center. Brings down the Gyrocopter, and Bounty Hunter is next. It's 2 for 2 so far.
Look
Dark
at that
Falco
Deeps!
makes it 3, but they're going to get jumped on by a Clockwork hookshot, and Dark Falco brought down, forces the TP from Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter actually cancels it.
He's in big trouble.
BKB.
Apparently, he's just going to get re-shot by
Here we go. This is it. Dark Falco getting about 3 or 4 right clicks to bring him down. BKB and Snare on the Shadowfiend, but it's going to be a Clockwork hook actually hitting for once. Brings down the Naga Siren. Immediate buyback, but it's too little too late. A lot of damage himself. They bring down the Aegis from Shadowfiend. Elder Titan, he does something. He gets off an ultimate onto the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter brought down, does a buyback though, and they lose Naga Siren as well though. Alchemist, SF, both alive, both with full HP.